Hey guys, what's going on? And this will be part 14 of the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls 2, where in this episode we're going to cover the gutter. The Black Gulch.
Yeah.
Shit, I always get these two areas mixed up because they might as well be the same fucking place.
So the last episode was the gutter, and we went back to Majula, we used whatever souls we had to level up, and now we're just going to improve our weapons and armour as much as we can, and, you know, just continue on really. So, obviously, we will travel back to the first bonfire,
Which is, like, as soon as you enter the Black Gulch, just hug the left wall and you can't miss it.
Yeah, that's...
It's like right away on the left as soon as you go through the fog gate.
Yeah, it's what we ended on in the last video.
So, of course, now there's a few new enemies in this area that you haven't encountered before. 2 new enemies, actually.
Yeah.
In fact, 3 completely brand new enemies you haven't met in the game yet. So, yeah. So this is, of course, the first bonfire, and I do seem to remember us standing here and dicking around for whatever reason.
Yeah, we were just standing. Now, you might want to put on whatever poison resistance, whatever armor
Poison
weapons
moss,
you have that give
poison resistance, a secondary weapon other than your main weapon. We're using the halberd because the boss in this area is actually strong to dark, so we don't want to use the halberd really against them. But we do have a video. We do have a video showing you that you can use the halberd against the boss anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, because you're gonna want to take out as many of these statues as you can, because you can't take these things out with regular arrows. So your regular bow is kind of useless. Although if you did get lucky enough to get a great bow, that'll work. And these statues also will not respawn, I suppose, unless you die or you warp from or back to the area.
So this is why we've told you to not use any fire arrows.
Throughout the game until now. Now you want to use them. Now those things that just popped out the pit are coal tars, and they drop large titanite shards, and they have a very rare chance to drop titanite chunk as well.
Yeah, so basically if you shoot the tar pits, eventually they'll go out, but it means that you can kill the coal tars before they pop out. And if they do pop out,
no threat to you.
Yeah, if they do pop out, they can be a bit of a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
So this is just an easy way.
They've only got one attack anyway. Well, 2 technically. If you run past the pit and they jump out and grab you, they've got this grab attack that more than likely won't kill you. And when they are out the pit, they have this tail swipe thing, which is really easy to telegraph. Now, this is a Razorback Nightcrawler. What you're going to want to do is get right where we're standing, because none of its attacks can hit you, except the one where it lunges back out the cave. So you have plenty of time to get in there and just get your drops, which are Poison Stone, which is rare, and the Dead Again Miracle, which is also very rare, which we do actually get.
Yeah, that's a hex, by the way. It's not
Dead Again?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking a solar piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Again's the blow up all the dead bodies hex.
But yeah, I mean, these things are not an issue whatsoever, so they shouldn't be giving you any bother.
If you, for instance, have no idea they're there and walk past them and they can sort of like lunge you and knock you off the cliff, then yeah, I mean, you may have a little bit of a problem, but other than that, you're fine. So just basically continuing on through this, here's where we pick up the Dead Again.
From the Nightcrawler.
Yeah, from the Nightcrawler. Now, we're going to go ahead and set some more of these tar pits on fire. Basically because it's just more convenient to take these things out with flame arrows, and the game gives you 40 before you get here anyway.
Yeah, so just remember to try not to use them. You also want to save your fire arrows for a boss coming up as well. So try not to waste your fire arrows on this. You just kind of want to go through in the one run, get your items, and then just get to the boss as quickly as possible, really.
If you've don't really farm the coal tars using your fire arrows, you can light it using fire bombs as well if you want to sort of give yourself a more prolonged and painful experience, because throwing any consumable in this game is so much more annoying than Dark Souls 1. So you can do that. Now, you can usually tell which sort of pits they come out. If you look very closely, you can see their tails sort of hanging out the side of all the pits. But you may not see that in this video because YouTube quality for one, and of course the resolution of the HD PVR sometimes can make things a little bit harder to see. But you should be able to see the tail coming out of the next pit that we shoot, if I remember rightly. You'll be able to actually see the tail just hanging out on the right side.
Oh, you can. I thought
yeah, you can. It's it's the second pit we set in fire there. You can just see the tail coming in and out of the ground.
Yeah, it kind of clips.
Yeah, horrible clipping, because, you know, this game is clip souls. But yeah. So now that we've come this far, these pits usually burn for about a minute, so we're going to go back up to the top and check in case we've got any drops from the pits that have already bumped out. Now, as you can see, we haven't, but this is what it looks like. It just look like sort of damp holes in the ground.
Yeah. So there's actually a bunch of items and shit in this area that are kind of secret. Like, there is more to this area than it initially seems.
Yeah, far more.
But it's still pretty small, all things considered. So there is the final Lucatiel quest line that we're going to show you. However, we're not going to summon Lucatiel for the Rotten, like we said, because Lucatiel is basically just a liability for doing the Rotten.
Yeah. The Rotten boss room has tar pits in it that are on fire, and with the horrible AI that Dark Souls 2 has, the NPCs kind of kill themselves. You do get 2 summons for the Rotten. You get Lucatiel and you get another one called whatever his name is, Hunter or whatever. Both awful, terrible. Rotten shouldn't really give you any issues anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of speedrunners say you don't do Rotten unless you've got like 100 agility, but you'll be able to do Rotten no problem like this.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really a huge deal, and at this point you've been rolling through the game with the same adaptability anyway, so you should be used to getting your iframes down with this build anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, if you have opted for your own build and you do have higher adaptability, then 100 agility, 105 agility is probably where you want to be if you're playing a lighter character anyway.
I mean, obviously there will be times, like, there'll be some people that will claim like, oh, Lucatiel was helpful for me in this boss fight, but every time that we've went to fight the Rotten, her and the other summon will just end up getting burnt out in one of the tar pits and die, and then you need to take on a buffed Rotten by yourself, and that can be a challenge. So
yeah, because
you really don't want that happening.
The AI for these guys, for whatever reason, the AI for these guys is like, get in front of the Rotten, attack it. The problem is, sometimes when the Rotten's tracking you and it turns around, it'll switch target and they'll be standing in the tar pit, and they won't actually make any effort to get out of the pit, even though it is ticking their health away quicker than Toxic.
But because of Lucatiel's questline, you'll need to make her survive 3 of the 4 boss fights. We've already made her survive the Smelter Demon, we've already made her survive Lost Sinner, and we've already made her survive the Flexile Sentry fight. So at this point we've already completed her quest. This is just us showing you that this is an option.
If, for whatever reason whatsoever, she somehow died to one of the boss fights that we've managed to keep her alive in for you guys, you can summon her for the Rotten. If she dies in the Rotten boss room, just homeward bone out and go again.
Yeah.
Or quit the game, reload it, go back to the bonfire, and yeah, just keep doing it until, because she has to survive 3 out of the 4 fights in order for you to get her quest line resolved.
And obviously her quest line, it just involves her giving you her entire equipment and weapon. So
yeah. So here's proof. There you go. They drop large Titanite shards. You can get your items from the pits after they've finished burning. There is one more drop down area in this place that we're going to go to right now, and it is to the Forgotten Key. So there's the Forgotten Key door, which we can't open right now. We have to go through this really, really odd looking ledge drop here and then down again, and there's 2 elite giants here. Now, if you have summoned anyone, by the way, if you've summoned anyone, for every player you've summoned into your world, there will be 1 extra giant here.
yeah.
So just do it yourself, put your poison arrows to good use, put your poison throwing knives to good use, take these guys down. They are insanely, insanely weak to poison. Like, poison rips them to pieces all the time. So don't even worry about these guys. Don't fight them in a 1v1, because you'll see later on, we decide to try and take one on, and the hitboxes are retarded.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the enemies in the game, arguably these guys have the absolute worst hitboxes for their attacks.
Yeah, it's so stupid. The good thing is that their aggro leash sort of pulls them back. If they get close to you, run out the cave, run out back to the entrance to this little tunnel area, and just stand on the left side of it, because they won't even attack you.
Yeah, so you can just keep running in, launch some poison darts or whatever at them, get them poisoned, run away, and just wait until they die, which is pretty much the best way of taking care of these guys.
It takes 4 poison throwing knives to poison them. You can kill them with 2 shots of poison. If you're using poison arrows, I think it's like 5 arrows or something like that, I'm not sure. Which doesn't make any sense, because poison throwing knives don't cost you any stamina, but poison arrows do, so you'd think the poison arrows would be more sort of toxic or more venomous.
You'd think.
So, you know. But yeah.
So you do also probably want your torch out for this place, because it is pretty much pitch black.
It makes it a little bit easier. It increases your lock-on range as well, from what I can see anyway.
Yeah.
Because in the same way that you get your lock-on range increased when you done the Sinner by lighting the pauldrons on either side as well. The same sort of thing. So as you'll see here, this guy gets quite close, but if you just stand on this side, they back off immediately. And while they're backing off, you're free to keep throwing arrows at them. because their aggro leash stops them coming this far for whatever reason. Maybe it was to stop you like finding a way to bait their attacks into them falling off the sort of the cliff face.
So in order to just speed things up, we just went in and attacked them regardless. But
Giants are weak to dark, so I mean, if you're feeling ballsy and you've copied our build, then yeah, you can do it, but you're just putting yourself in for more pain than it's worth at this point. You see the hitbox here, like this one.
Like what the fuck? Like what the fuck is that?
That swing landed in front of the giant, and we are a good one roll away from its back end, and it's still flattened.
It's shockwaves, Stephen.
Oh, right. So what you're saying is it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for killing the 2 giants, you get the Forgotten Key and you get a Soul of a Giant. Now, Soul of a Giant is what you use to bring down Vendrick's defences.
Yeah.
Currently, at this point, Vendrick has 32 times defence. For every Soul of a Giant you have on you, you reduce his defences by half, which means that it needs 5. I think there's 5 Soul of a Giants to get in the entire game, and that brings his defences down to a normal level.
So obviously, Vendrick is an optional boss later on in the game.
But we're getting every item, so we have to kill him, because that's the only way to get his armour set and his crown.
And his armour set and the crown and the shield are all really great items, so
yeah,
it's kind of something that you want to do. Now, getting the giant souls are not actually that difficult if you know what you're doing, so you don't need to worry about that, but you know, we'll get them as we go along. Right, so that's the giant area done, and that's pretty much all the optional areas and items for this.
That is
the whole place.
That's every item.
However, we will do the Forgotten Key doors at the end of this video after they're on, so we're going to show you where all they are. So
and just because we're here at the moment, we've grabbed every item. If for whatever reason we've somehow missed one, let us know and we can annotate in the location.
Yeah, just like any other video.
We ask you guys to do this at the end of every video, but we appreciate not everyone has enough time to watch every single fucking video. They're here just for the items and that's it, so if we did miss anything, let us know.
Yeah.
But this is the boss, this is the Rotten. Now there's a few interesting things about this boss. For a start, this boss is weakest to lightning and is strongest to dark. Magic and fire are on the same level, they're both sort of neutral. And the reason why that strikes me as kind of weird is that you'd expect him to be strong against fire because his entire arena is on fire.
Yeah.
Then again, he uses dark magic, so you'd expect him to be strong to dark as well, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I mean, he's not overly difficult, like, he's easy to avoid. But I will tell you, when he hits fucking hard.
Yeah, and he does, although he's generally easy to avoid, he does have one triple slam attack that is actually quite difficult to avoid, so
yeah,
you kind of want to
if you fuck up the
that.
timing for the first, then it's like, if he hits you with the first part of it, like if he hits you with the first slam, he's definitely hitting you with the second one. The delay between the second and third is your earliest roll window if you get caught with the first attack. The problem with that is that the first and second can take away like a quarter to anywhere between a quarter and half of your health at this point. So it's just to make you aware that it can be difficult.
There's a bit of a fuck up in editing here. Although we went into the boss arena, we wanted to show you us doing the boss with the halberd, and there's slightly too much video before going into the boss arena, so just don't worry, like...
I believe at this point, like, what we're actually trying to show you is one of the other mechanics in the Rotten boss fight where you can cut off his limbs.
Yeah, basically you went to do that and you died as you cut off his limbs because you could have killed him, but you just spent so long trying to show that eventually you just fucked up and died.
Yeah.
So there's one... This is the clip of you actually beating the boss with the halberd, and then there's another clip of us beating the boss with a different weapon, and then there's...
Then it's the chop his arm off.
Yeah.
Right, cool. So like, because the Rotten's biggest weakness is lightning, but we're currently using a dark halberd, this is just to show you guys, if you don't have the greatsword, if you don't have any weapon you can buff with lightning resin or anything like that, or even fire and magic resin will do, to be honest, then this is just to show you that even though he's resistant to dark, he's not really that resistant to it.
You still do a decent amount of damage to him, really, so it's not too much of an issue. Now, you kind of want to get around the back of the Rotten as much as possible, really.
Yeah.
And try and staying on his non-weapon side is probably the best idea. Otherwise, normally the swings can get you with the weapon arm because they go back quite far.
And he does have that backhand as well, which, although it's easy to see it coming, it is still sort of difficult to avoid because of how quickly he swings his weapon.
Now, not only does he swing his weapon quickly, he does a ton of stamina damage, so blocking his attacks are almost impossible, especially with the triple swing, where he will pretty much break your guard and then end up hitting you. So.
And he also has a huge AoE as well, where he just basically, he sort of channels in front of him this little dark orb and then it explodes out. It has a pretty decent range. Like most of the bosses in Dark Souls 2, it's the exact same AoE animation where they sort of hunch over and then lean back and explode and shit like that. And be careful on that. He has this one lunge that he chains into his, like, he can chain that into his chop, where like he this vertical slams.
Yeah.
He can chain that lunging strike in on the end of that. So just be careful, because you think you're safe, you're gonna go for the heal, and then bang, he's like right in front of you again.
So as you saw, we blocked that attack and he took away all our stamina. So you can see that if he does the lunging forward attack, that's easy enough to dodge if you dodge like around him.
And that's what it looks like inside.
And you see there that we're going towards the non-weapon hand for dodging his attacks, and that's slightly easier to do, really.
Yeah.
So I guess, and then, so now that we've cut off his weapon hand, he's pretty much completely offensiveless. He pretty much can't hit us now.
He has like 3 attacks now, where he has his AoE, he has that slam attack right there. There's his AoE. He has the slam attack there with his fist, and he has a grab with his fist as well, but like pretty much every single boss grab in this game, it does fucking nothing on NG. Like,
yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Now, you can also cut off the non-weapon hand, which we will show you in the next clip coming after this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do cut off the non-weapon hand, the hand will actually drop a Faris Lockstone. Now, we don't actually pick it up, so we can't completely prove that to you, but just believe us, there's a Faris Lockstone in his hand.
You'll see the item on the ground before I die.
Yeah.
But like, it's not one of those items, like for some reason Dark Souls 2 doesn't have any automatically to your inventory items for some reason.
Like in Dark Souls 1.
Like in Dark Souls 1, like when you killed a crystal lizard, it was automatically to your inventory, so that if you killed a crystal lizard and its body fell off the edge or something, you didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, his limbs regrow, but at this point it doesn't matter anyway, because he's dead basically.
So that's the Rotten. Generally, we consider the Rotten to be one of the harder bosses in Dark Souls 2. At least I do personally.
I don't. Like, if he hits you, yeah, it hits hard, but I mean, if you don't get, like, his attacks aren't difficult to dodge in this. Like, they're hard to dodge because they're quick. They're easy to see coming though, which is a problem. I find Mirror Knight harder than the Rotten. I find, yeah, look, we just cut his arm off, and you'll see where his arm is. An item spawned right there. That is the Faris Stone.
Now, Stephen could easily have killed the Rotten at this point, and for some reason just didn't. But I don't know what the hell was wrong with you here.
I was waiting for the attack, and I fucked it.
Yeah, that happened.
It's the way it works with most bosses in Dark Souls 2, where the longer the fight goes on, the more likely you are to make a mistake, and that fight went on a little bit too long, so I made a mistake. But this is how you slam the Rotten to fucking oblivion. Get a great sword, get some lightning resin, run in there, and watch the chunks, doing like 2 times as much damage as I was doing with a halberd.
Well, it's only because you can get in more attacks, really. But, I mean, as you can see, just being a bit lighter, having that weapon where it does, you know, it has more focused attacks.
Yeah.
You're going to have a good time with the Rotten. But the Rotten did seem to do quite shitty attacks against us at this point, do you know what I mean? So
That's what I'm saying there. Like, I couldn't roll between attack 1 and 2, but on the 3rd attack, I could roll between that because there's a bigger delay. So that easily could have killed if the 1st and 2nd swing and the 3rd swing all had the same delay, that would have killed me.
yeah.
Guaranteed that would have killed me, because I am wearing a lot lighter armor because the greatsword's a lot heavier. But you shouldn't really have a problem with the Rotten, to be honest with you. And of course you do get the Soul of the Rotten, which you use to make the Butcher's Knife a weapon that when you strike an enemy you get back a little bit of health.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
It's a good combination to run in tandem with a Chaos Blade, where you go like R1, L1, because then the health you receive from the Butcher's Knife sort of levels off the health that you lose from the Chaos Blade.
Yeah, so there we go, we get another Sublime Bone Dust. And, you know, that will obviously upgrade the rest of this.
Now, at the time of recording this guide, the DLC wasn't out. Oh, it was out, actually.
Oh.
So, yeah, there you go, guys. That's how you enter the first DLC for Shulva, the Sanctum City, the Crown of the Sunken King. Again,
the DLC is not included in this guide initially. We will be doing the DLC guide, but just not right away. We still need to learn it.
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable with the first DLC guide. Like, the first DLC, the second DLC, I think I'm alright on it. There's a couple of items I've still to like discover for myself.
Yeah.
But the third DLC, I've not played anywhere near enough of it to like grab all the items, but I think I know where pretty much everything is as well, because it seems to sort of lead you back around and like past every item. None of them are really hidden as such.
We're going to go back to Majula just now, and we're going to level up, use Sublime Bone Dust, use whatever souls we've got, And then we are going to go and show you the Forgotten Key areas.
So it's convenient that we're in Majula, because one of the Forgotten Key areas you have to access from Majula.
Yeah.
It's down at the well where you drop into to get to like Grey of the Saints, the Gutter, and down at the Gultch. You need to buy the 12,000 soul ladder from Gilligan, which has 2 bonuses. 1, you get the Forgotten Key door, and 2, he gives you the Melu scimitar after you buy it.
Yeah. You need to buy his most expensive ladder.
Yep, and Gilligan has 4 ladder cutscenes, but most bosses don't even have a single cutscene because, you know, Japan.
So now we've got our endurance and vigour up to 40, we can start upgrading other stats because we pretty much don't need any more health or endurance at this stage.
So at this point we're going to get our strength up to 28 so we can one-hand the greatsword, and of course we're going to probably two-hand the greatsword anyway because it has insanely good scaling. It gets S scaling at +10, which is amazing. It's just one of the best weapons in the game for PvE. But yeah, so once we do that, then it's just going to be Intelligence of Faith till we get the dark weapon requirements and shit like that. So straight down to the bottom of the well, and there's a ladder on the very same platform you take this ladder down to, which takes you up to the Forgotten Key room, where there are 3 chests inside: Ricard's Rapier, Witch Tree Branch and Bellvine, and Great Lightning Spear.
Yeah.
That 10 out of 10 memory. 2020 memory. But yeah, so now you can open these doors, and of course there are 2 other Forgotten Key doors, the one you've seen in the Gultch, and the one we showed you in the Gutter video as well.
Which we're obviously going to go to after this.
So we'll be able to show you guys pretty much everything you need to know, but...
So there's the
Soul Vortex actually, so it wasn't a Ricard's Rapier.
I thought it was.
I thought it was Great Lightning Spears, maybe it's Soul Vortex, I don't know.
So
Witch Tree Branch and Bellvine, so this is either Great Lightning Spear, it's Ricard's.
Or both, maybe?
Or both, no.
Ah,
it's Great Lightning Spear. Alright then,
I swear Ricard's Rapier was in there as well.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different chest or something.
Maybe.
But so from the first bonfire in the Gutter, it's really fucking easy to get to. Go to the first building and jump across the gap and take the ladder up.
Yeah, so this is where we get Havel's armor set, which is...
And the worst fucking room in the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly just a joke. Like, what they've done is clearly just haha because we can.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because remember those poison spitter statues that are in this area and the Black Gulch? Congratulations, there's 1,000 of them behind these 2 doors.
Yep.
So basically all you want to do is just run in, grab the armour, fuck these things. You're probably going to get poisoned, so there's no point in trying to really fight the ones that are inside the Forgotten door.
Yeah, just run in, grab it and get out.
The only reason why we broke these ones is so that we don't get stunned as we go in. But yeah, look, they're shooting us through the fucking door. That's how bullshit this room is. They can shoot you through the door and you can't do shit about it. So yeah, you just see poison flying out the door. There's no clipping.
Okay, now we're going to open the door.
Yeah.
Finally, fuck's sake.
Pain in the ass. Good news is that you just get through here and it's in a pot instead of a chest, which I'm surprised about. But yeah, there's full Havel's armour as well as Havel's Great Shield. And you get the Dragon's Tooth later on in the game.
Yeah, so if you want to cosplay as Havel, you need to wait until the Dragon's area.
Yeah.
So now we're going back to Majula, blah blah blah. We're cutting that
the last one, and it's the Black Gulch. Now we're going to drop back down, basically the exact same place we went to get to the Giants, except instead of dropping down to the Giants platform, we're going to stay on the door, and we're going to run into another NPC actually.
So the NPC that we're coming up to is Dark Diver Grindal. Now if you kill him just now, he will drop the Dragon Charm.
Yeah, Dragon Chime. And he gives you like 2,000 or 6,000 souls as well.
But you want to keep him alive if you want to join a covenant. Now you need to meet him 3 times in the game. This is the first encounter. So we'll do more about him on the last encounter, but for now just talk to him and you'll see in the next video and in Dragon Lake Castle video where you see the next 2 encounters for him if you want to join the can't remember what it's called, the Dark Covenant or whatever.
I think it's the
Pilgrims of the Dark.
Yeah, Pilgrims
anyway,
of the Dark.
That's it for the Black Gulch video.
Yep. So as ever, guys, we have a donation link down in the information in the description. You don't have to donate. You've watched the video. You can give us a like, a comment. You can even subscribe if you haven't. That's more than enough. And of course, we've got all our information on screen for Facebook and Twitter and our Twitch.
Remember to catch the stream.
Yep. Don't miss one of those streams, guys. They're absolutely fucking hilarious. And as ever, guys, right in front of you, last episode box to go to the gutter, and next episode box we're going to go through Shaded Woods. You'll be able to click that screen once the video is uploaded. But yeah, that about wraps it up for the Black Gultch. It's an okay area.
Yeah.
It's not as pointless as Grave of Saints.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
So that's it for this video, and hope you enjoyed it. We hope it was informative, and we'll see you in the next part.
See you guys later.
Bye.